Welcome to the Christmas Special 2021. This is part 1, tidying up around the kitchen table, looking at my presents and starting the preparation of a Christmas dinner for 8 people. I made this video on the 27th of December 2021 when my family were coming round for a Christmas dinner. And for my Patreon supporters, I do apologise for not posting a video on the day I made this one because I was far too busy. My kitchen is in a bit of a mess for a couple of reasons. One is I have too much stuff, including steam engines that customers leave with me for prolonged periods, and the small extension to the house at the side of the kitchen has not been finished yet. This is a Hammond organ. It's a Hammond model L102, which is the same model of Hammond organ that Keith Emerson used when I first heard him play way back in 1968. This old Hammond organ, along with the steam engine on top of it, which belongs to one of my customers from Alaska, will be kept in the very secure extension that I'm currently having built, along with a few other steam engines from customers who've just left them with me. When all this is done, I will have a lot more space in my workshop, and also in my kitchen. This is part of the kitchen floor, and it's littered with radio control equipment, chargers, and parts for my metal detector. Moving upwards and to the right, this is my kitchen table, or one end of it, and this aluminium box with my name on it contains a very small mixer that I used to use when I played in a live band. The last gig with my band Mad Dogs and Yorkshiremen, which took place on New Year's Eve 2019. Early in January 2020 I was ill, and I mean ill, high temperature and feeling really bad, coughing a lot and having no energy whatsoever. It was only a couple of months later when COVID-19 was announced. I think I possibly had it in January. By the way, inside the box is a very small Yamaha mixer, and it's a really good little thing. I made a mounting for it so I could have it on a stand at the side of me, which made it very easy to control the levels of my live keyboard system on stage. This case fitted very conveniently under the Hammond L102. The first job to tackle was this mess on the floor. I found a suitable cardboard box. This is the after shot of the same area once I picked everything up and put it in a box. Now I can add one of the extra seats to the table, so all 8 people will be able to sit down. There's still a way to go yet. On the table are some of my current Christmas presents, as well as some beer for my son-in-law. This is normal Coors beer, it's not the light version, I only get that for the studio customers. Some of my Christmas presents this year. I really like this one a lot. My first wife Fran bought me this. I'd better put a disclaimer in at this point. I have never beaten either of my ex-wives. Psycho nuts. These were a present from my daughter Charlotte. Just the thing you need to get a party started. She also bought me this thing. It looks a little bit like me hiding in a tree. So altogether, the gifts so far were right up my street. I think my family know me only too well. And this is a t-shirt that I received from Charlotte, my middle daughter. Here's a random mixture of presents, from wine glasses to Advocaat to 10-year-old port to chocolate liqueurs, as well as a terrace chocolate orange, everything I'm not supposed to eat and drink. And mainly as a reminder to myself, I also included in this image my type 2 diabetes medication. On the top of the old Hammond L102, apart from the steam engine, is an empty box. And this box contained a Nespresso automatic coffee maker machine. This is not the aforementioned machine, it's my digital ultrasonic cleaner. One good thing about living by myself is that I can have things like this on the sink. The coffee machine is at the other side of the sink, along with my toaster and fancy electric light. I started the day at about 7:45 in the morning, and now it's just after 9 o'clock. I would like to take this opportunity to show you my kettle. I live near York in England, and this is a hard water area. The kettle needs descaling. For the coffee maker, I'm going to use this stuff, which isn't hard water. It's some stuff I buy locally, and I get packs of 24 because I do like drinking this water. It's very nice. The good thing about this brand of water is, as you drink the water, with atmospheric pressure the bottle just collapses, so you always have a solid column of water from the bottle into your mouth and down into your stomach. I'm going to use this stuff in my Nespresso coffee machine. I have 4 of these cups and they're just the right size. Last year my youngest daughter Catherine bought me this mug. and it says, "Great dads have awesome beards." And coincidentally this year my middle daughter Charlotte also bought me one, so I have two now. It's been a long time since my beard looked like this. This was a Christmas present that I bought just before Christmas, and it's a present that I bought via eBay for myself. It's a book called LBSC, His Life and Locomotives, just as Keith Emerson influenced me very heavily in my musical career. LBSC, also known as Lillian Lawrence, taught me just about everything I know that you watch in the videos. LBSC was born in 1892, and his biography makes a very interesting read. I'm not going to tell you too much about the book. I would recommend any of you out there into model steam engines, whether they be stationary engines or particularly locomotives, to buy both this book and the other book that was put out called Shop, Shed and Road. I get a nice Christmas card from my friend Bob Brocklehurst, who owns Pugneys Light Railway in Wakefield. The small Christmas card was from last year. This is one I received the other day, showing a collection of the engines that run on this railway. If you've never been there and you live close enough to travel to it, it's worth the trip. A bit more about LBSC. He wrote articles in Model Engineer for many years. I have quite a few bound volumes of Model Engineer magazine from the period when LBSC used to write his articles, and the articles are amazingly interesting. I'll be talking more about LBSC in a future video, but not this Christmas special. For now, it's back to my Christmas presents. These were bought for me by my daughter Charlotte, as was this, whatever it is, a grooming set. And 3 jars of these. I really do like these. They're called stuffed cherry peppers. This was from my daughter Charlotte too. It's a really nice thing. It's a crystal ball. Quite a few years ago, I bought a larger version of this crystal ball for Charlotte's mother, my second wife. When I gave her the crystal ball, I suggested that she got a couple of friends and then they could all audition for a part in Macbeth. This particular crystal ball is for photographic effects and of course video, so I'll probably use it. A word of warning though, if you do buy a crystal ball, be very careful where you put it, because the crystal ball that I bought for my second wife causes a problem. It lived on a shelf near a window, and on certain days when the light from the sun hit it, it acted like a magnifying glass and it actually burnt a hole in the wall. This was also from my middle daughter Charlotte. It's a back scratcher, which is a very useful thing to have if you live alone. It's telescopic, and it will save me the trouble late at night of trying to capture hedgehogs in the garden. They also make good back scratchers, but they don't seem to like it. A very strange coincidence. I've just come off the phone and I was speaking to a man called Sean Mason. I sold Sean a very nice example of a Stuart 5A steam engine a while ago, and very shortly he's going to live in South Africa, so he wants to sell the 5A, and I'll be listing this engine on the Mainsteam Models website very shortly. And this is a small bottle of tea-flavoured dry Yorkshire gin from a company called Mason's. Even though, believe it or not, I am not a big drinker, I received quite a lot of alcohol this Christmas. This is a bottle of 10-year-old port. The bottle of wine on the right-hand side is Lindemann's Gentleman's Collection, and this is quite pleasant wine. One of the presents from my eldest daughter Emma was 4 good quality wine glasses. This is not a Christmas present, and it's something that I've never owned before. It's a hostess trolley, and it's designed to keep food warm, which I don't personally like, but it's really good when you're dishing up the meal to just temporarily keep it warm, to allow synchronisation of delivering the meal to the table. It was very conveniently situated in York, so I drove over there, paid the lady for it and put it in the back of the car. I don't have a lot of dinner parties, but my family come round for meals fairly frequently. Currently this hostess trolley is going to have to live in front of the L102 Hammond organ until I get the organ out into the extension. I gave one of my Hornby 3.5-inch gauge Stephenson's rockets to my future son-in-law Dan, because I did have 3 of them, including the large OS one, which was a bit too much. The rocket lives on the mantelpiece above the fireplace, and in front of the fireplace, what else? An old Marshall 4x12 guitar cabinet. It works, it's not just an ornament, and when the extension is finished, this will also be going in there. This short series is all about making a Christmas dinner for 8 people, so it's time to start. As a precaution, when I'm outside in the world, I always carry with me one of these bottles of alcohol rub. I'm about to unpackage the turkey. This turkey was really well wrapped in 2 bags. It needs to be cooked for 3 hours 46 minutes, but I will cook it for a bit longer than that, to avoid any possibility of poisoning my guests. As the turkey had been in my fridge for a couple of days, it was very cold. I took the turkey out of the fridge very early this morning and left it sat in its wrapping on the worktop. I put it into the oven at exactly 12 o'clock noon. And no, I didn't forget to take the giblets out, but it looked like a horror film when I videoed it. And I didn't want to over-offend any vegetarians or vegans. Now comes the very important part. Once I'd finished handling the raw turkey, I first of all washed my hands in the sink with some soap, and also, as the usual belt and braces approach, I also re-cleaned them with the gel. Here's a turkey in my oven just before I shut the door, but it's currently only sat in there for storage purposes. Before cooking the turkey, I took it out of the cooker, preheated the oven and then put it back in. By now it was 20 minutes to 10 and it's time to start processing this lot. I'll cover this in the next episode, and it's more interesting than you think. There's a definite technique involved in making all this ready to eat. And for any viewers who are thinking, I didn't subscribe to this channel for things like this, so just for the viewers who make comments like this, to finish the video, I'm going to show a steam engine running in the workshop. I've just noticed that in this next clip, the colour of the engine resembles a Brussels sprout. Stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.